Hello everyone, and welcome back to Combat Clarification, the series where I'll be explaining all the coolest or most complicated techniques and styles in all of your favorite anime and manga. Thanks to a suggestion from Project Baki 2 Gang from like a year ago, I'm gonna be explaining the mechanics of Musashi's dashing technique that allows for him to blitz most everyone he fought, and if you guys want the next video, a Kengan Techniques Explained for Okoye's Stance of Suppression, you guys gotta hit the like goal. And since you guys have just been killing it non-stop for months now, I'm gonna kick it up a notch. The like goal to get the next video immediately will be 160 likes in 1 week. So you guys still have a week, but at least you shouldn't hit the like goal in like 2 hours. Now, there isn't a lot to this Ashiwaza, or stepping technique. It's not a named technique or anything, and it's only ever used by Musashi in the series to my knowledge, but I'll be tackling this Techniques Explained in 3 stages. First, the burning question: how fast does Musashi actually move when he uses this stepping technique? Next, the main question of the video: how does the technique work? And finally, what, if anything, is this stepping technique based on or inspired by? First, how fast does Musashi actually move? Well, there's no one true objectively correct answer, as there are many ways to go about calculating the speed of Musashi's dash with the information we have available, and each different calculation typically has a low ball, the lowest, smallest possible outcome, a mid ball, the middle ground and most often correct or accurate answer, and a high ball, the biggest, most wanked calc outcome you can get. As an example, one source calculates the distance between Musashi and Yujiro to be twice the height of Musashi, who was 5'11", roughly 6 feet tall. Since the time frame for covering the distance, 12 feet by this person's calculations, was cut off at 0.000, the slowest this process could have taken place over was 0.0009 seconds, or roughly a millisecond. This means that, as a mid-ball, Musashi would have had to take a single step in 0.000075 seconds, and have dashed at Yujiro at a speed of 13,333.3 feet per second, which is 9,090 miles per hour, or Mach 12. Another example, which verifies the language of the dialogue, specifically that the time frame given was accurate across different translations, uses something called pixel scaling to attempt to measure the distance between them more empirically. Pixel scaling is when you get the height of something on a given panel and use it as a metric by which to measure other things present on the same panel by counting the height of the known variable in pixels and then using that as a base to measure everything else. If that was a little complicated or confusing to understand, allow me to explain with an example, specifically Musashi and Yujiro here. We know that Yujiro is 1.95 meters tall, or about 6'3". In the panel that best shows us both combatants and the distance between them, Yujiro is measured to be 290 pixels tall, so 6'3" equals 290 pixels. Using that as a base, we're able to convert the amount of pixels between Musashi and Yujiro, 427 pixels, into a unit of measurement, 2.87 meters, or about 9.5 feet. To cross that distance in the previously established time frame, the slowest possible time from the information given being 0.0009 seconds, can be solved by a simple equation. V, velocity, equals d, distance, divided by t, time. With all variables in place, the equation would be 2.87 meters divided by 0.0009 seconds equals 3,190 meters per second. That means that, at the slowest possible speed in which Musashi's dash could have taken place, he had to have been moving at least 9.5 times the speed of sound, which is also consistent with the prior calculation of Mach 12. Now, pixel scaling isn't the most reliable way to measure distance due to differing proportions and perspectives in manga, but it is much more scientifically accurate and consistent rather than simply eyeballing it, and it is one of the few ways to accurately measure distance in manga due to few alternatives. For a final calculation, so that we have a wide range of data to compare, one calculator focuses on the time aspect, as the ellipses at the end denote that there is more to the number than visibly displayed. They use a low ball of 0.0009 seconds, as previous calculations have done, but also use 0.0001 as a high ball. It could, in theory, have been much faster than even 0.0001, but those numbers start becoming significantly inconsistent with other speed showings in Baki, which are all around hypersonic as of late. Yujiro is again scaled, getting us 289 pixels this time, so this time 1.9 meters is 289 pixels. That would mean that the 504 pixels between Musashi and Yujiro is 3.313 meters, or about 11 feet, and Musashi is 242 pixels, or 1.591 meters, about 5 feet, which is admittedly not consistent with what we know, as Musashi is almost a foot taller than that, but that may be due to his signature relaxed slouching stance, which actually plays a large role in his ability to do this stepping dash, so just take all of this with a grain of salt. Something this source does that others don't, however, is taking the arc of the sword swing into consideration, as it's not like Musashi slashed instantly, rather having to swing to cut. As the sword appears to have an arc of 180 degrees, we must divide 180 by 360, multiply 2 pi by Musashi's height, 1.591 meters, and you multiply the two to get your sum, 4.998 meters, or 16.5 feet. That gives us an additional distance for the sword to cover for the sword to reach Yujiro independently of Musashi, so our total distance is 4.998 plus 3.313, which gives us our full distance, 8.311 meters, or over 27 feet. So plugging that into the velocity formula, 8.311 meters divided by our slowest speed of 0.0009 seconds is 9,235 meters per second, or an astounding speed of 27 times the speed of sound, and that's the slowest speed. The highball is the same formula, but divided by 0.0001, which gives us 83,117, or Mach 244. For comparison, the NASA X-43, the fastest jet ever, is only just shy of Mach 10. The fastest rocket, the Parker Solar Probe, is Mach 515, so a little over 2 times faster than Musashi's dash. Is that consistent with showings of other characters in the series that scale, like Yujiro? Well, the high end is a little much in my opinion, but Mach 10 to 20 for one of the fastest dashes in the series seems pretty damn consistent. Now let's talk mechanics. Now luckily for me, Musashi's dash is explained quite clear-cut. Musashi's body goes from a relaxed state to completely slack, causing his body to fall forward. Doing so causes the full weight of his body to be put into forward motion to build momentum from the offset. Using that momentum, Musashi drives his heel into the ground to push off and explode forward. A simple enough technique, no special tricks to it, and easy to do in real life as well. Which brings me to my next segment, the technique in real life, or at least an equivalent. So, at first glance, this is quite similar to Fumikomi, but Fumikomi is a step into a stomp and strike. There's no visible slackness to the body or drive to the rear heel. Another Ashiwaza is Shirashi, but while this technique can be employed in tandem with Musashi's dash, this technique itself is simply keeping your feet slightly connected to the ground as you move. Gliding rather than fully stepping, which would, if used with Musashi's dash, decrease the distance you can cover due to more friction between your foot and the ground, even if the connection is a slight one. But it would also make the dash more stable, though honestly the dash is fast enough even in real life that unless you're spamming it and getting predicted, your opponent shouldn't be able to react and capitalize on the moment of vulnerability. A Yumi Ashi is similarly not what we're looking for, but Okuri Ashi is strikingly similar to what Musashi does. Though it features no slackness of the body and had a second step after the dash where the rear leg closely returns to the lead leg, the base idea of Okuri Ashi is pushing yourself forward with your rear leg. Being that, in essence, that's exactly what Musashi is doing, I'm pretty sure that's what we're looking at here, or at least some form of it. So that's pretty much the long and short of it. The idea is, practically, not that different from shooting in for a takedown, but feigning into a strike. The only major difference is that, instead of lunging forward for a shoot, you're simply letting your body fall and then exploding forward from that fall. With the difference being that, by going slack first, you're adding to your explosiveness when you snap into the lunge. To learn more about how relaxation increases your explosive power, check out the Techniques Explained video for the cockroach tackle, a technique that uses the same principle to its utmost degree to massively amplify Baki's acceleration. Alright, thank you all so much for watching. Like I said, 160 likes in a week, and we're on to Stance of Suppression, so be sure to support the video. I've been Red Fox, the Ashra of YouTube, and this has been Combat Clarification, Grappler Baki Techniques Explained. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.